Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Good day, good morning, good
Hello,
afternoon, whatever it is.
wherever you are. Hello. How are things?
Oh, uh, seems to be starting to settle down for me a little bit, which is fabulous because now I'm going to get back into reigniting myself as far as my classes and coaching. So, start with classes online, teaching online classes, um, and just get the momentum going. So again, get the momentum going again. So uh and it's okay. I'm okay with it because I had to pull back. Um my my financial situation got a little tense, and so I was blocking myself from receiving any kind of prosperity because I was too focused on the debt that had built up, and my attention was too much on it. So, to ease that, I went and got a job. Well, in that, I do 40 plus hours a week. So, and I'm had have significant roles in nonprofit organization I'm in, and so just took me a couple of years. Like, I'm 2.5 years into my business. The first year of, I'm sorry, 2.5 years into my job. The first year of my job, I tried to do all three of them and try to stay up on it, which was exhausting. And I just finally had to, take some priorities and step back. And so the coaching and classes was the one that I had to put aside for the time being, knowing it was temporary. It is still my passion. It's still the thing I want to do. Um, and it was important for me to get some of my debt paid off. And so, but even in my workspace, my job, um, I really enjoy it. So, and it's still helping people and coaching people in a different way. It's been interesting because in my business and coaching, I talk a lot about spirituality, all the things that we talk about here. So I have a lot more freedom in how I talk because it's my business and I get to teach the way I want to teach. At my job, it's more structured. And so I have to be mindful of the type of words I use and how to explain something without being woo woo or spiritual or talk about chakras or, um, you know, energy and things like that. So, which has been great because now I have more information. I'm learning and I love learning. So it's been, and the other benefit is I've been meeting people I wouldn't have met sitting in my, that's not a true statement. I've met a lot of people quicker than if I would have just stayed at home building a business. I've met a lot more people in our community, even outside of our community, that I it would either taken longer or may have never had those connections. So I've learned so much. I've met a lot of people, and I've expanded that, um, those contacts, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm going into 2026 with a renewal, if you will, of revitalization. How's that? Reigniting my coaching and teaching.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that because even if you're revisiting everything and going back to it, you've already evolved. Everything, so many things have changed even since you were doing it before. Even though you still do stuff, but there's so much things that have shifted for you,
Yeah.
which also means that different people will be coming to the gatherings. I was going to say to the surface because there it is, and it's like even with your job, it's such an opportunity to learn how to communicate a lot of the same stuff with different vocabularies, speaking a different language, even though it's the same language, but you just learn how to speak it in certain groups.
Yeah. And it was for example, and a learning curve for me was, when you step into the spiritual arena, it's easy to talk about Reiki and auras and chakras and sound healing and all those things. But when you have somebody you're coaching who has a religious background, you got to learn how to speak to them and connect with them. So it's making me more versatile. I have broader uh, components to my communication skills now. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, I agree.
It does make a difference. And luckily, I had a few people that came into my experience to help me open up to be able to communicate, you know, especially if they were more religious. It helped me, it actually expanded me because I felt like I was closed off for a lot of those things, because I had my own dualities within myself about a lot of things. And I recognize that we're all on our own personal journeys, and those journeys take us to wherever we're going in our own unique ways, our own unique styles. And so there is no right or wrong way or good or bad way. It just is whatever works best for each individual. And that took me a long time because I even struggled with a lot of that with my mom, because she starts saying stuff and it's like, oh, here we go. But then I recognized my kids would do almost like this same thing. Oh, her mom's getting all philosophical on us right now, or she's whatever, however they would terminology or term the conversation as I was having the conversation, probably mostly telling them or talking at them about the information that I had, because it was all new stuff and it was so fun to want to share it, that I wanted everybody to be able to understand. But I didn't even understand at that time, honestly. And so that's evolved too. So, and it is in the continual evolution.
Yeah,
So that's nice.
you just keep evolving. It's
God.
continuous.
And sometimes it sucks ass.
It really does.
It,
It really does.
I will
There's
tell
no lie
you,
there.
lately it's been so heavy where I'm at. And it's it's allowing me to reflect more and to go within and start asking more questions and not have the conversations outside of myself. It's actually, which God dang, it sucks ass. But anyways, it's guiding me into myself to be able to have those answers and those, you know, to go in for the guidance. But it's not easy. It's not easy when when you're familiar with how a relationship has been, and all of a sudden the communication style is like completely cut off. When that's completely cut off, it's like I don't, and I understand it because I ask, why is this showing up for me? You know, like, what am I going to learn from this? And I feel like a lot of it is to guide me within. I would like some freaking answers about stuff, but it's like I also have to, I'm learning patience, and I don't have to, because the more that I try to resist this stuff, the more that it creates, then I get stuck in the past, or I get stuck in the future, and I get stuck in the anxiety or in the depression areas. And so recognizing all those things, and really it's, and for me right now, it feels like it's forcing me to be in the space of now. That's really, because otherwise it's uncomfortable, because you can keep replaying the stories over and over and over in your mind, or you could keep worrying about what the future's got for you, or where you're going to be, or are you still going to be in the same place anymore, or for your shifts or your moves. And it's kind of a scary place. It's kind of because it's so unknown. And I recognize that. I think a lot of times I had, well, it's not even a lot of times, most of the time I had fear of change. I'm still having fear of change. And so it's learning how to try to walk through this. And I have my friends that I can reach out to and talk to, but it's not the same when you're familiar with something else. And so it's also recognizing codependency. And there's a lot of different things that I'm recognizing in my life. And it's on my side. It's not something on somebody else's side. And you know, wanting things to be a certain way, or the communication styles to be a certain way, and it's just totally chopped off. It's just totally not there. So it's been quite the growing, but this is shouldn't be very uncommon for me at this point, because it's been going on pretty hard since April.
Mm.
With a couple of times I come up to the surface to take a breath, And I dive right back down into it.
You go right back in. No, I feel that way too. It's like, okay, I got a breath. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Now to get into a space where it feels like I'm in control, but my cards keep saying I need to let go of control. And that's heavy too. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. It's kind of, um, I have to rely back onto the things that we've talked about, relying back on writing and talking to friends, reaching out. If I'm emotional, then I'm having a conversation with people that I know that I can have conversations with, which obviously I can have conversations with you too. Um, but there is just like a limited amount of people. And then also recognizing during all this, sometimes the things that I might share or something that somebody else has witnessed, they'll might have their opinions because they have their own template about how things have been in relationships and such. And it can create confusion, especially for a person that's an empath, which I am. And I would recognize that I could start taking on some of that belief system, but I carry my pendulum. I have my wooden pendulum. I carry it around with me everywhere I go. Because if I have to pull over on the side of the road, I pull off the side of the road. If I've got something that's really sitting in me that doesn't feel right, I'm learning how to go neutral in those spaces as much as possible. And sometimes I can't. So it's like then it's asking from within, or I get a message from a friend, or something along those lines. So it's really, I think things are going crazy right now for a lot of people. I saw something just recently. It talked about people kind of like flatlining, not knowing, and I feel like that's kind of what's going on in my experience. Not for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
but flatlining, not having any emotions at all about anything, because they're in a different space, and it's hard not to take it personal. Because I'll go back to the empath thing. It's That's why it's so very important for us to get to know ourselves and know what the things our wants, needs, and desires are. The and fulfill them ourselves. And if we don't know how, it's like learning how.
And it's interesting. I just had this conversation with a potential client yesterday. He's came out. He has an ex-wife, and he had a recent breakup, and he thought everything was going well. But a reminder, and I have to do this for myself as well. A reminder is all relationships serve a purpose, and it doesn't mean they're going to last forever. And sometimes when we're holding ourselves hostage, we're also holding the other person hostage. Um, so maybe it is courageous making the choice to move in a different direction, and then the unknown of, well, what's next, it's not for us to know. It's just to be like, okay, I'm going to open myself up to what is next, and that next could be absolutely amazing. So um yeah, those reminders, and it's scary. It's one of those things, easier said than done. And just, you know, pros and cons. If I stay, here's pros and cons. If I leave, here's pros and cons. So it's just weighing the options and seeing what you feel may be the best decision for you, not only you as Bev, but you as the audience. um, just, you know, the unknown is always a fear for people. It's always is and always will be. I have that sometimes as well. I have the fear of getting a job. Well, if I get a job, then I won't be able to do X, Y, and Z. I won't have as much freedom. I won't. And what's that going to look like? Like, I had to go through that whole process too, just getting a job. And and then I had to look at, well, what are the benefits? Well, I'm going to be in the community more. I'll be helping people in a different way. Like, I had to go through all that. So just taking an inventory of what feels good, what doesn't feel good, so to speak.
Yeah. And all that being said, I hear you very well. I've been trying to put more focus into myself because it's the opportunity for that. But it's like I ask my cards, and my cards keep showing me the same, like like this is like temporary, this is whatever. And it's like I don't know what to do in the temporary area, even if it is temporary or not temporary. Um, I think a big part of me feels like there's a massive shift happening and I have no control over it because we're all changing. But what it is guiding me into more is my divine feminine, is to realize, is to go into that space because I haven't done that. So I'm exploring it. I think I've talked about it maybe once or twice, but not really sitting in it and exploring it. So it's really looking into that space. Um, the other night we were having a conversation here at the house, and it was brought to my attention about how my tones could come across quite harsh as a teacher or whatever, almost forceful. And so I'm so much more open now. So I sat, and of course I like to have the conversations. And so I sat with him and listened to what he had to say about it. And then the way that I interpreted it was, it's me stepping into my divine feminine. I've been in my masculine for so long, even still, that I try to gravitate back towards that because that's my stability. That's what I knew to keep myself safe. But I also recognize now I don't have to keep myself safe anymore because I'm protected anyways. And that gives me goosebumps. See, that's the whole thing. A lot of the stuff that if I was talking about that it's time for me to go, I haven't been getting goosebumps. If I'm talking about it's time for me to stay, I'm not getting goosebumps. You know what I mean? There's such a neutral place there, so it's like it's something different than maybe what I think that it is. And it's just kind of learning how to walk this path because this is so unfamiliar to me. The divine feminine, so unfamiliar to me because that's being nurturing and loving and vulnerable. And I feel like in my relationship I have been very vulnerable, but I've also know that my child has kind of run the show at a lot of times because the child knows, just knows these feelings or this I just don't like this. I don't like this. And she wants to have her temper tantrum, but I know that I can't have that temper tantrum because what it does is it only pushes the other person away. So it's me finding ways to look within self. I've got several books that I'll go in and look at, something I love to do. I might even grab a book and just close my eyes and ask spirit to guide me to what I need to see in that book right now. And I'll flip through and I'll feel like it stops. It feels like the page kind of sticks right there. And I look in there and it's like it's the perfect message. One of the things that came forward to me for all this stuff was rejection,
Mm.
which of course it goes with abandonment as well, but it's another form of things. So it's just I'm just saying all this stuff because this is what I'm experiencing and I'm trying to muddle my way through it, but I do have a lot of tools that I can gravitate towards, and I have a lot of friends that I can talk to, a handful of friends. And to me, that's probably more than I ever had in my whole life because I didn't stay in any one place for very long because I partied a lot. So most of my friends came and went. If they were still in the physical body, that's awesome. Most of them probably weren't. So
Oh, we just keep going though. Is not it's the opportunity to learn and grow and take another step. So whether it's in your case relationship and in my case a business that um it's been my mantra my entire life. Keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And it sucks. Absolutely. Like you said, it sucks ass. Like it just, there are days you just don't want to get out of bed. And I get that. There were days I was super depressed and didn't want to get out of bed. Um, but luckily for me, my spirit was stronger than I was and kept me going. Um, because there were bills to pay, there was a child to take care of, there were things that had to be done, responsibilities, adult responsibilities that had to be done. So I had to keep showing up, which has um even today that shows up for me. Just keep going, which means yeah, you went and got a job and you had to make some adjustments within yourself and within your environment and such, and now you can do it again. It's like relationships. Well, now you get to nurture another one and see how that turns out and see whether it's first and foremost, it should be that relationship with yourself. So
Yeah.
every relationship gives us the opportunity to see where we have within ourselves um, the opportunity to grow, meaning it takes two to be in a relationship. And yet the other person has their baggage, and yet you have your baggage too. And if it doesn't work out, then it's like, okay, what am I feeling? What am I sensing? What are my thoughts like? And for you, like you're saying, rejection and abandonment's been huge for me with relationships. Um, and then that in between relationships, it's an opportunity to sit and go, okay, this is what I sense, this is what I feel, this is what I experience, this is, you just lay it out, like you said, with pen and paper. Get a big old whiteboard. Who cares? Just something that where you can get it externally from your head out in front of you, so you can look at it and go, okay, well, rejection is an issue for me, and what's the issue with rejection? Why am I hanging on to this story? What am I feeling when I'm feeling rejected? What comes up in me? What memories come up for me? So it's just a whole process. And Bev, I know you know all this, and maybe it's just
I
a
do.
reminder, but just speaking to the audience with all this is relationships are an opportunity for ourselves to grow. And this is going to be continuous through the rest of your life, unless you decide to be a hermit in a cave and never talk to anybody ever, ever, ever. As long as you're around people, every person is an opportunity to help you grow in one way or another.
And I like everything that you said, and I like that you said it's a representation of myself, really. It's a representation of the relationship I have with myself. And I agree with that because I haven't had the best relationship with myself, not even knowing how to have a good relationship with myself. So, I mean, that's like a huge part.
Yeah.
That's
So,
probably that's probably is the part.
yeah, for me lately, for a while now, it's been disappointment. And again, focusing on other people. This person disappointed me. That person disappointed me. It's like, okay, well, we keep showing, well, first of all, it showed up. And yeah, I know it's there, but not really internalizing it or processing it. And then it keeps showing up over and over and over again. Um, it's showing me something. So, what's the disappointment in me? Well, I'm very disappointed in myself for allowing myself to get into so much debt. And that stems from other belief systems that I've had to work on and change. Um, I'm disappointed in myself. I haven't been to the gym in over a year. I haven't done any like consistent body movement and such, which means my eating habits haven't been that great. It's like just the disappointment in the external environment is a reflection of the disappointment I'm feeling in myself, but I'm not internalizing or wasn't internalizing it as self disappointment. Although I am aware of it, I wasn't linking how much, I didn't realize how much I was disappointed in myself. And so yesterday, I had to go to the grocery store. I'm like, all right, I got to start somewhere because here we are starting again, which is okay. Um, I just sat with Chat GPT and I'm like, give me some easy recipes for, you know, some foods that I liked. So the meat and the vegetables and all that. Give me some easy recipes that are quick. I can meal prep and start with my eating habits. I have time for that. I can fit that into my schedule. Um, so I started there. Went to the grocery store, got a bunch of vegetables. I already had the meat in the freezer, so I'm good. So now today, as after we're done recording, that's part of my thing today is prepping some of those meals, and then my next step will be start incorporating moving my body more. So I'm just it's okay to take these baby steps. In my business right now, what can I handle? Probably one Zoom class a month. That's probably what I can definitely fit in. I know, maybe two. So, it's not for me right now, it's not I'm just going to dive in today and change everything. No, it's where can I start and what's at least one baby step I can take right now. And you take the step and you move, because
Oh,
what keeps
yeah.
us, what damages us is when we don't move, when we stay stuck, when we keep, you know, rolling in the mud and staying stuck in the quicksand, and we're just there and we're floundering around like a fish out of water. We're just floundering around because we can't get ourselves to do anything. Well, you have to take a step. You got to move in some direction in order to
Yeah.
make help anything change.
And one thing with all this stuff that's happening for me, I hardly sleep at all now. I mean, I might get a couple hours of sleep a night and I'm good with it. But I get up and I might go meditate. I might do several meditations. I might come in channel write. I might come in do a card reading. There's so many things that I'm doing now that which is, if I look at it from a non-victim space, it's an opportunity for me to connect. It's an connect with spirits because that's where I feel like I'm being guided anyways. I'm so glad we're having this conversation today. Honestly, it's nice to have these perspectives because I have been on the move. Like I go out and I'll go hike the hill. And it takes me maybe 15 minutes. And I'll come back and I'll come do some kettlebells. And I've got my big whiteboard and I've got my list of things that I'm going to do that I know are good for me. And some of it's like practicing going onto YouTube and finding belly dancing, like finding how to connect with my feminine body. Some of the stuff is like the Kriya yoga, but also it's Kundalini yoga because it's very important because that connects you with the body, the sensualness of everything. So it's like there's so many different things. I have an opportunity now. So instead of me sitting and maybe watching a bunch of videos or sitting and matching whatever he's doing, because not knowing what to do with myself, it's helping me step onto my own path to explore all these things. I've got a guitar he bought me a few years ago. I've tuned it a couple times, and that's about it. I've sat with it and listened to the tones a couple times, but I haven't really explored playing it. So there's all these different things that are opportunities for me right now. And so I guess early in the conversation would have been if anybody's watching, it would be me being more in that almost victim space, to be honest with you. And now I'm in the space of because we've had the conversations and it's reigniting or reminding me, I feel more empowered and I feel like I'm stepping into like, what are you talking about? You've got all these opportunities to do all these things and you can do it right now. You're in a safe place. There's nothing, I mean, I'm safe here. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food. I've got my dogs, I've got all this stuff that's here and he's still here, but it's like it's just from a different viewpoint now. And also Spirit told me just recently, if it wasn't happening this way, I wouldn't be growing the way I'm growing right now. It has to happen this way. Still sucks ass, but it has to happen this way. It just does. So now the next
And
video will even be that much better.
and we know that when we move through things like this that seem very heavy, that when we get on the other side of it and look back, then the beauty of it, the benefits of it, the gift of it was all worth it.
Yeah.
So
And it's a constant gauge letting me know where I'm at energetically in that moment. Am I being in a victim or am I being in a frequency that doesn't feel good to me? Because I'm the one that makes the choice to change it. It's not something outside of me that's supposed to do a trick or something and make me all happy and bring me back up. It's totally up to me.
yeah, yep. And that was the end of my conversation with this potential client. Was I I can give you, your other friend can give you, and other people can give you all the tools in the world. Like we could just lay it all out for you. But until you do something with it, nothing's gonna change. A hammer doesn't work if it's just laying there. Like
It's true.
you gotta pick it up and do something. So you gotta pick yourself up. Really, you have to pick yourself up and do something different. So yeah, and Give yourself permission to know that right now, where you're at, you're okay. I have to do that for myself as well. Give myself permission right here where I'm at in this body, a little overweight, lack of movement, still have debt. I'm okay. And really, even with all of that package, my life is 100 times better than it was. So, where you're at, you're okay. And if you want it to be better or different, then you have to make the movement. So, and nobody can do that for you. I know, again, Bev, I know you know that. I'm just speaking in general to the audience, that, and it's a reminder for myself when I say things like this. I'm reminding myself too. So I do listen when we have these conversations. I do listen when I'm coaching somebody. I listen when I'm having a class. What is touching me as well, where I'm like, oh yeah, I needed to hear that too. And so we're all okay with where we're at. All of us matters. We're all loved. And now, what are you going to do? Right? What am I going to do now? What direction do I want to move in? Get a plan. Start something. Write something down on a piece of paper. Like Bev has stuff written on her board. I have things written down in a notebook. What are the things you want to do? And then start creating that plan. And again, like I use ChatGPT. It's an AI platform. Use an AI platform to help you create that plan. I can tell AI. I have a full-time job where I work 40 to 50 hours a week. I have a home life I take care of. I want to reignite my coaching business, and I want to change my eating habits, and I want to start moving my body more, and give it some information. Then say, okay, create a plan that works for me, and you give it time frames, time slots, like give it as much information as you can, and it will lay out a plan, and you will be shocked, because you alone in your humanness, with your blinders on, because you're so stuck in your head, this will just open things up, and you will feel a sense of relief, like, oh yeah, I can do that, that's doable. But it took something outside of you to get that accomplished and help you see it. So utilize the tools that are available to help you make changes. And even if it's listening to other podcasters or books, or hiring a coach, the purpose of coaches is to help you do things quicker. And you're not paying for the information they have, because you can get the information anywhere on the internet, even through AI. Like, you can get the information anywhere. What you're paying for is the time that they are giving you to help you move faster. That's what it is. You're not paying me for my information, because access to that is everywhere. You're paying me for my time, because my time I can't get back. So my time is valuable. So it's like, I'm going to set aside time specifically for somebody. That's what you're paying for. So keep that in mind. If you decide that you're going to go hire a coach, and they say, well, here's my price, and this is the package, remember what you're actually paying for. I'm going to stop there.
Awesome.
All right, friends. Do you have any final words, Bev?
I would just say that when things are feeling so heavy, find the people that you can talk to and reach out. Don't just try to do it all by yourself.
Yep.
It's good that you're reiterating things that I do already know about, because I still need to hear them sometimes, because sometimes we can get lost in our stuff and we forget all that stuff, because there's a lot of emotions that are involved.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, friends. This is Amy, Tea Time with Amy and Bev. I don't even know what we're doing. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. Be sure to share our videos and content, or at least have conversations. If you want to be resourceful, we're found on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and YouTube. So you can always share our links or any other podcaster, spiritual teacher, influencer that you resonate with. Share that with your friends and family and coworkers or whoever else is talking and asking questions and needing and seeking guidance. So with that, thanks for hanging out with us. Tea time with Amy and Bev, and we'll see you next time.